Welcome back, guys. It's your host, Brian Tello with 678 Podcast. And today, I got a special guest. It's been changing the floor industry. Yo, JP, welcome, man. How you living, man? How you been?
Shit, chilling, cooling on this Sunday night. We hanging out. What's good, brother?
Hey,
How you
man,
doing?
just here, man. Blessed to have you, brother. So, man, I've asked a few people, who should I bring into this podcast, as you know, and a lot of people voted for, you and Chris. Unfortunately, Chris couldn't make it with us tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately. Shout out Chris, though.
Shout out Chris for
Yeah.
real. But you guys been changing the flooring game for some time now. I mean, every single time that I open up one of your stories, man, the flooring looks crazy.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah,
So,
thank
man, a
you.
few people have been asking about the epoxy game, and glad you could just tell us a little bit about it and how you got started.
Okay. Yeah, man. When I got started, it wasn't too long ago. I'd say it was about a year and a half ago is when I found it. I seen it on Instagram. I seen people posting about it. It was definitely, like you said, something new to a lot of people. They ain't even. There's still a lot of people that ain't even seen it. But whenever I saw it, I really was intrigued, and I was like, man, like that shit. It looks cool. It looks like something fun to do. And then I was like, by the looks of it, it looks like people making money off of it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I was in the place where I didn't really feel fulfilled with where I was at with my career as a painter. I have a family painting business. That's what I was doing, helping my pops. But at the same time, I felt like there was something else I could do, something more to be achieved. So I saw that, and I took the initiative to be like, you know what, let me take the time and the money to invest into this and learn it. And that's just kind of how it just started. From there, it just popped off, and I just haven't looked back. So
That's crazy because I was going through your Instagram, and I mean, you blew up on Instagram
yeah,
off of the epoxy flooring game.
yeah. I used to do music, and I ran it up to 4K, and I gave that shit up, and I was stuck there forever. And then I started this shit, and that shit just went crazy. So yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
weird how that fucking works. But
I mean, I DM'd you on Instagram to get you on the podcast and kind of have your thoughts on the epoxy flooring. And immediately, man, I could tell the hustle because the response I got wasn't from you. It was an automated response
message, man, people hate that shit
to
so bad.
to get my floors done. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, this man's on hustle mode 24/7.
Nah, the reason why I had to do that was because I was getting so many DMs, I couldn't even get to everybody. There's so many people I have missed and not gotten to, jobs that I've lost just because of the fact that I be so busy, and I didn't have no way to make sure I got to everybody. So I had to, do my due diligence and, figure out how to set that up that way, if there's somebody that's really interested in getting a floor done or taking a class, they can fill out my form and I can have their contact saved and make sure to follow up with them.
Why do you feel that people reach out to you? Like you said, there's a few people in the industry. Why do you think people reach out to JP? What is JP?
From what I've heard,
Got
just
the
quoting
others
other
though.
people, is, I stand out to some, more than others. I've read bad comments. I've read good comments. It ain't for everybody, but for the ones who do fuck with me, I appreciate it. And I was just say, I just stand out to them, and luckily, that's what I want. And if there was a reason why I had to say why I stand out, I just say because when it comes to dropping my designs and stuff, I'm a little bit more considerate when it comes to how much product I use. And I'm a perfectionist, OCD like a motherfucker. So I like to make sure my shit come out as best as it can. And one thing about that is you never want to skimp on material, just how you wouldn't skimp on anything else you ever want to do.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it
You
right.
gonna do it right, yeah.
Yeah. So you just said that it's the automated message. If they DM you and then it's like, hey, what kind of floor would you like done, or like you said, classes, man. So you teaching this stuff or what's going on?
Yeah, I just recently started teaching this. I'll be honest. I got some haters because of it, and I ain't gonna say too much about that. But being that I've only been in the game for 10 months, might be a little bit too soon for some to know that I'm training and whatnot. But at the same time, it ain't no rocket science. It's just another skill like anything else, bro. It just takes the time, the attention to detail, for anybody to really pick it up and get it. You know what I'm saying? I took 2 courses. You know what I'm saying? I did my first job within the first month, and I was on go ever since. So it's I know personally it ain't nothing it ain't nothing more than just learning a skill, you know? And so my goal is to replicate myself and pass it on, help somebody else, and help myself out.
I like that. Quick
And
question.
one thing, too, I want to add to that. So far, teaching people has been such a big blessing to me because I have a lot of some of those jobs on my profile were never been done if I had never opened myself up to being like, hey, you know, I'll help you this, that, and the third. You know, I have people all the time, hey, JP, you know, I got this job, whatever. I do epoxy, but I don't do designs like that, whatever. Can you help me? Can you teach me? How much would you charge me? Or whatever. But I'm just like, as long as we could break bread, we straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So definitely, you know, I enjoy the teaching and I plan on keep doing it, you know. So
As it's an entrepreneurship, as an entrepreneur, man, now that you're taking over this epoxy flooring game, and like you said, you haven't been in it for a long time, but you come from that background of painting, come from that background of hard work. You know, your grandfather. What what would you recommend to those that are trying to get into this industry? What kind of courses? I mean, tell me a little bit.
So yeah, so like mine, you know, I feel like I've been doing pretty good when it comes to like teaching everybody the process. And there's a lot of courses out there from different, you know, people, different installers. And I'm not gonna knock down nobody's hustle. Everybody does pretty good work. And you know, you could always learn from everybody. And that's something that I never want to take from nobody. And that's something that's something you have to live with you know, in your daily life. You have to always acknowledge that. Like you can learn something every day from anybody. It don't matter who it is, bro.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say if you were really interested in learning this trade, I would say look up or find an artist that is installing whoever you like style the most, whoever you see yourself, whoever style you see yourself doing, or at least like gaining some type of like style from or like details from. I would reach out to them. You know, you reach out to me, you reach out to whoever, and I say that's like the best way to really get started. Just take some courses, do your due diligence research, you know, look up all about it, and then, you know, make that decision if you really want to go hard with it or not. You know, there's a ton of people that want to learn, they get into it, and then they find out it's not for them, and that's cool and all. But I'd say like, if your goal is to really make shit happen, you just gotta really like do it. You know what I'm saying? Give it your all. Whenever I came into this, I ain't half-ass it. Bro, I stopped going out. I wasn't hanging out with my boys. I was barely hanging out with my girls, just grinding, bro.
I know that when I ask you these questions, you're like, hey, I don't want to knock off anybody's head. Is there beef between epoxy installers, bro?
There's hella beef in every fucking industry. I tell you that right now, bro. Like, it don't matter what
So
you
we
doing,
said we got some haters.
Yeah, we do, and we're not gonna talk about it too much. But just know when people start to see you doing better than them, they don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah,
and, you know,
they team to hate.
I don't ever want to be that person, bro. Wherever I teach, bro, I want them to do good, and I want to do good with them, you know. And you know, again, shout out to Chris. You know, he did the floors here. He's the reason why I know you. You know what I'm saying?
It's great networking.
That's a great example right there. Like, shout out my boy Chris for real. Like, blessed by Chris. Follow him on Instagram. Fucking I taught him. You know, we chopped it up. You know, we were strangers, but I didn't even know him like that. He just reached out to me, and I was like, all right, let's get it. You know, wants to learn. All right, bet, come to my first class. Taught him. You know, he needed some help. You know, I was able to help him. Then I needed help. Then I was able to, you know, hire him to help me and shit. And we just started, you know, hanging out and shit. And that's, you know, when I met you and stuff. So it's like I just said, there's some people that don't want to see others do great and stuff like that. But it's like, when you help somebody, bro, you're helping yourself. Like, it all comes back, bro.
Yeah, for
sure. It's all good karma.
So I know there's good money in this epoxy floor because I've seen some of the jobs that I've seen you guys do hospitals, garages, commercial,
barbershops, retail, clubs, everything.
What is the most expensive job that you have done?
It was an 8-car garage in Miami in a mansion by a $4.2 million house. I charged 55 bands for that one. You know, I walked away with 30 on that. Ain't nothing crazy, but it was decent. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, 30 grand. It ain't 30 grand is 30 grand. That's
good.
That's a paycheck, man.
Yeah, but hey, it was definitely a lot of work. You know, I was like there for like a week and a half, I think. And you know, it was hot as fuck. It was in the summertime. You know, this is past summer. You know, 8-car garage was split. You know, 4 and 4. And
He had some crazy cars in there.
yeah, no, bro, yeah, like, and that's like one of my best clients right now. Shout out to him. I ain't gonna say no names. He likes to be private,
For sure.
but
For
you know,
sure. For sure.
he got me doing another project for him up north, barbershop and stuff. And I've been very blessed to be put on, you know, with people like that are willing to see the worth in my work and the art. You know what I mean?
It's an art. That's really what it is. Everybody has their own different style, and I mean, I've peeped some of your designs, man, and gotta say, crazy, bro.
I appreciate
The color
it, man.
combinations that you choose, and then like you said, man, you've been an artist. You were in the music industry, also painting, and now doing the epoxy flooring. But I've seen like you look around your surroundings and you pick the colors that you think best will look with
Yes.
that.
Yeah, usually I let the clients pick the colors, but I do make some suggestions. So it just really depends what's going on, how easy going the client is. Like, if you trust my vision, I got you. But, whatever colors they have in mind, I try to work around it and I'll suggest, like, maybe we should add this one or maybe we should only add a little bit of this one. But really, like, it's gotten to the point where back when I was first starting this, it was so hard to get jobs. Man, like, first 6 months of me working, I was struggling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't really getting jobs. I was spending money for advertisement, wasn't getting nothing. People were asking for quotes, nobody wanted it. I had nothing to show for it, you know what I mean? But once I started to put out a little bit of content and build my portfolio, it's not to a point where people just hit me up and they're just like, bro, I just want you to do what you do. You know what I'm saying?
It's the power of social media, man.
Feeling. Yeah, for sure.
Social media has changed the industry for a lot of people. Like, for instance,
Bro,
right
I
now,
spend $4,000 a month just on ads, bro. That's how my shit blew up. I'll be honest, like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta pay to play. You know what I mean?
for
Like,
sure.
marketing is like the one thing that's gonna set you apart from any company. Like, cause it's just a repetition of people seeing you everywhere. You go, whatever. Like, you just stay in the back of their mind. So it's like whenever something pops up, finally, who they gonna call? They gonna call you.
For sure,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? So
Now, like you said, you've been at it for roughly 10 to a year now, 10 months to a year now. And in that time frame, I know you were never just dropping epoxy fire. How many floors do you think you fucked up?
I fucked up. My very first one, I had a screw up where, look, epoxy is a very sensitive thing. If you don't mix up, because epoxy is part A, part B. If you don't mix them up properly, long enough or whatever, you could get what they call soft spots, meaning that the A and the B never mixed in well enough to where the part A isn't gonna cure, isn't gonna harden. So my first job, I made a mistake of like leaving like the bucket like drip too much, and everything that was stuck to the bucket kind of like dripped out. And so I had a soft spot. I had to scrape it up and I had to patch it, which it looked ugly, but it was for one of my close friends, my first job. So he wasn't tripping
So
about
it was a learning experience.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, I had a fucked up ass experience in North Carolina too. We was doing the church.
Oh,
And,
not the church.
Yeah, 3,000 square feet, dropping 30 buckets of epoxy. And on the very few last ones, I had two people mixing. One of them, they were pointing their fingers at each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who.
They didn't
really
want to take the
fucked-
blame.
Yeah, no one want to take the blame, but I wasn't even tripping because I was like, the thing is, we gotta have to get this fixed, bro. So one of them forgot to put a whole part B in the kit, so I had the whole hallway in the kitchen that never dries. So you talking about you coming in the next day. Clients haven't walked the whole thing, but they've been peeping. They're, man, it looks so good, looks so great. Bro, I walked it, bro, I stepped in some shit, and it was just uncured epoxy.
God, that must have
And
been a shitty feeling, bro.
I was stressed. We worked every day that week till like 2, 3 in the morning. A long ass night. So I don't blame them for fucking up. We were tired, we were exhausted. It was a lot of work. But and shout out to my boy Christian, Christopher, my bad, not Christian, our Christian, but Christopher from Virginia. I had him come out and help me, and he stayed there with me. Him or the other guy was one of the ones that fucked it up, but it's all good. He stayed there, and we picked that up. And I'm telling you, that shit, epoxy is sticky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I don't know how to describe it.
What's the healing process on it? A few hours?
12 hours is normal.
Hours.
But in the cold temperatures, it could take about a day and a half.
So if you mess up, you gotta wait 12 hours to try to refix it?
Or you have to, like, if you're redoing the whole thing, I would assume so, yeah. But like, let's say like in that situation, I mean, there was just like no way of knowing in the moment really, because everybody was doing their own shit. And when we came back,
guys
that's
saw
when
the
that's when we
mistake.
figured out what exactly wasn't mixed. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, I guess you could say you had to wait if it was something like that.
During this process, man, what has been your favorite design that you like? You know what, man? I threw down on that shit.
A jeweler shop that I did when I got this shit right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my favorite one. Honestly.
Tell me a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, so shout out SP Jewelers and AP Jewelers, made my first piece. Real ass motherfuckers right there. They contacted me for a quote. I pulled up, in Midtown. Um, and they asked for the quote and stuff, and we negotiated and stuff. And we had the whole place cleared out. It was in a high rise, so I loved it so much because I was able to control the environment. Doing things like buildings like this where you have, the door that goes straight to the outside and things like that. Like there's certain things you can't control. Like man, like if I open that door, wind's finna come in and blow in some dust and then cause debris in the floor. So since we were in the high rise, you open up the door, it's straight carpet, hallways, it's quiet. There's no major AC like blowing air anywhere. Like everything was,
Smooth sailing.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I feel like I was really able to throw down on that one, and he wanted black, silver, white, and then hints of rose gold, and I ain't never messed with that color rose gold, and luckily I was able to find a pigment that was that color, and so yeah, when I dropped it, I had very minimal imperfections. It was damn near perfect, and that's one thing about these floors, is that they're always gonna have some imperfections, like because at the end of the day it's liquid, and like I said, there's so many moving parts to making sure nothing gets in it while it's wet,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely that jeweler shop. You should check it out on my page, bro. It's like one of like the recent ones I have. But yeah.
Also, man, I know that you said that you're teaching and everything. So if somebody like me, for instance, wanted to get into this industry, what's the most money that you think somebody can make doing this? I know obviously there's what was the range?
I think it really depends because, like I said, my goal is to scale a regular epoxy business, right? Where I'm doing garages back to back and, commercial buildings. None of that flashy shit. Solid colors, flake, chip, quartz. If you structure a business how any other businesses like painting and siding, whatever, you can make a decent living. You make 100. Like this year, I made 200K, a little more by the end of 2024. I'd probably say maybe.
And that's within 10 months of you knowing this business.
Tight shit. Yeah, but I ain't gonna say all of his profit. I'd say I took half. I took half home. You know what I'm saying? Like a little over 100. But at the end of the day, like I told you, my first 6 months, I wasn't even really working like that. Like I had a project maybe like once a month.
Sheesh. I know that was probably tough trying to get bills paid and everything, and
Type
you have one project.
Type shit. I was still working with my dad. I was going back and forth. I was luckily, shout out to my dad. My dad ain't probably gonna see this, but he an old head. But shout out to him. He's always instilled that work ethic in me and always had work for me to have. As a painter, and that him being my dad, he gave me the liberty. Like, hey, you got something to do, go do it. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to go back and forth between working with my pops and then focusing on building my business. And that was to a point where, man, I haven't painted in the last 6 months for real. Now I'm just full time my business. So
I like that, man. Is Atlanta home for you?
Yeah, hell yeah. Ain't my home. I mean, I was raised in Kennesaw. I ain't gonna hold you, but at the same time, I've been around. Guys. Yeah, I'm a Grady baby though. I'm a Grady baby. That's why I was born. So, anyways, yeah, I've always been around the city. Always been, in town and shit. So, yeah, Atlanta's home for sure though. Yeah.
Is that most of your projects come from Atlanta?
Nah, hell no. I've had more business out of the state than I have in the state, which is fucked up, but it's all good.
Where do you think the most business that comes from? Like, where have you gotten reached out to mostly from? And
it's hard to say because I've been to Miami, I've been to Chicago twice, I've been to Michigan, I've been to New Jersey, I've been to North Carolina, I've been to
so this thing is in the U.S. just blowing.
Yeah, and I went to Colorado. I did a weed farm. That shit was hard. That shit was fun. My first time ever.
Yeah.
Weed farm. Yeah, that shit was cool. And then where else have I gone? I mean, I've done a few projects here, and Texas too. I did one in Houston. So it's too early for me to say like, oh, I've had more business here, or whatever. Because really, it's all been like one project in each
Yeah.
of these states, or like one or two, and then like I've probably done more here back home, but more of my bigger paying jobs have been out of state for sure. Cause I charge a different fee for that.
Oh, for sure. If you're out of state,
Yeah, hell yeah.
check got to be fatter because you travel,
Travel, food,
hotels.
yeah,
That's for sure.
transport, everything. Yeah, for sure.
So it's been good.
Yeah,
Has
it's
been
been
treating you
good.
well.
It's been good, man. It's been really good. I feel very blessed, and I want to keep passing that blessing on. So, yeah.
Any chances of you maybe, like you said, opening up? I know your next classes, if I'm not mistaken, I think you said they were in Orlando.
It's in Deerfield, yeah, Florida.
Okay.
Deerfield, Florida.
Why not
Deerfield
home?
Beach. Well, right now it's getting cold. It's already cold, and it's taking too long for the curing process. So, let's say over there I'm doing a 4-day class. Being that first day is grinding, second day is priming, third day design, and fourth day top coat. But now with the cold weather, each coat is taking double or triple the amount of time to cure. So it's like if I could have people come travel from
Yeah.
anywhere to come learn for 4 days, but now I'm pushing it a week and a half. It
I
just
see
kind of
what-
don't make sense for
Oh,
people.
I see what
You know
you're
what I'm
saying. I
saying?
see
Like
what you're saying.
it's just a little bit too much. I feel like for people.
So cold weather's your worst enemy
Your worst enemy, yeah. To be honest.
in this industry.
Yeah, right now it's like the slow season for everybody, really. Luckily I'm not too slow. I got some business still doing. Like I said, I'm going to Miami or Florida to do that class and the floor, another project, and then I'm going to Indiana and do a barbershop, and then I have a couple of other little projects lined up too.
It's dope. So you're pretty much busy till the end of the year and beginning of the next year too, which is solid. When you're not dropping epoxy, bro, what's the weekend look like for you, man?
Weekend.
What do you enjoy doing,
Shit,
bro?
since I've been hanging out with Chris,
Jeez.
shit, we've been going out, but really, typically, bro, I don't really do much, man. I be chilling. I be in my own world. I used to have a girl, not no more. Boy, single now. But for 2 years, I was with a girl, so I used to be really low key, just hang out with my shawty, just going out on dates and shit, and then just focusing on me and my business. But now, shit's
But
different.
now that you met Chris,
Yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, shit different. Had that. But he
Man.
got me going out and stuff, and I definitely don't want to get too ahead of myself.
No,
But,
for sure.
I like to hang out, kick back and shit. But I really want to invest back into my music, put some time into that. I want to start a clothing brand soon. I want to do a lot of things. So right now I'm kind of like in this weird limbo where it's just like, man, what do I want to do with my free time right now? Because I'm going through a lot emotionally,
sure.
mentally, on the bet. Nobody gets to really see too much of it, but I'm still figuring shit out, bro. You may think, oh man, JP got to figure it out, whatever. Short amount of time, he blew away. Nah, like I'm still figuring out as I go day to day, and I still struggle with a whole bunch of shit. So
No, for sure. I feel like there's never an age where you have everything figured out. I think life comes at you and you just take it and you learn from it. And I think that's been one of the biggest things for me, starting this podcast. Like I thought, Brian, what have you been doing? You haven't done anything productive lately. You got the funds, you live nice, you do good. So let's do something
next,
with it.
right?
Yeah.
Like, what's next?
I thought to myself, man,
that's the question.
Nothing
right there.
better than networking nowadays. Social media has changed the game for so
That is
many
one
things.
thing I want to point out right now. What you just said, networking. That is the most important thing when it comes to anything, especially this business right here, this business model. There's a lot of projects that I probably would have never done if it wasn't for me getting out my comfort zone and talking to people, And I feel like a lot of people, they expect shit to come to them, but it's like, nah, bro, you got to get out there. You got to
work for it, man.
You got to work for it, but at the same time, you got to talk to people, man. You got to really build relationships and just, get yourself out there, man. Let people get to know you, let people meet you and stuff. Like, don't be scared. Like, you never know who you're going to run into. Like,
For sure,
you never
for
know.
sure.
Never.
I think one of my biggest lessons this year has been to be humble, to humble yourself. I think when you get to a point in life where everything is going well, you start to get lost into it. You get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
It's what a lot of people say, and some people never experience it, but when you do, one time you wake up, you're like, damn, man, I could have had this connection, but because of how I acted and this and that. Yeah. So I definitely, feel where you said, like, we're going through a lot of emotions and things that we may not put on camera because, like you see my Instagram and my life may look perfect, but I mean, we go through, struggles every single day and, we're working on it. So definitely this year, I took it to myself to kind of just put myself out there, show them who Brian Tello is, and
Hell yeah.
networking. Most importantly, I've had a few people reach out to me and say, "Hey, man, I'm trying to be on this podcast, man. I've seen you doing good things. I've seen you doing that," and so definitely very excited for my guests to come on board. And
Hell yeah, bro. Like, salute to you. Like I said, if Chris had never introduced me to you, I probably wouldn't even be here. You know what I'm saying?
no facts, man. Chris is a dope person.
Yeah, I wish he could have made it, bro.
The only problem with Chris is he tells you, "Hey, man, we're going out for a chill night," and it
Oh,
turns
and then
into
that boy can-
it's never a chill
That
night.
boy will pop out with 2-3 bottles out of the nowhere talking about shot.
And the crazy thing is, he's in that nightlife,
Yeah,
so it's so
yeah,
easy
it's so easy
for him to get access into. Hey, man, we're going here, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Yeah,
But
he
it's
lives.
definitely. I mean, Atlanta's nightlife is crazy.
Yeah, man. You get in trouble out here, though, I'll tell you that.
I mean, there's spots popping every single day. I mean, I've gone out on Mondays before,
That's
and
crazy.
it's
That's
lit.
crazy. I can't do no Monday.
Well, it's
Whenever
crazy
we did Wednesday the other night, I was like, what the fuck are we doing on a Wednesday? You know what I'm saying? But that's crazy, you know?
Nah, they say Atlanta's nightlife Sunday is the best day. Everybody parties on Sundays now, which is crazy because you got work Monday, man.
Morning. That's crazy. Can't even do it.
So, man, I know you were telling me. Let's go back into the epoxy, man. We get carried away here.
Low key. It's all good though. It's all good.
I know that. I know that you say you're down there in Florida. Do you ever think about moving down there to Florida? Since
Man,
the
it's
weather's
funny
better
as hell
for
because
you?
I've had this conversation with a couple people. I like Florida. The weather out there is good as fuck. I mean, it's
No
humid and shit,
state
but
taxes. No state
in Florida.
taxes. In Florida,
Swear
bro.
to God, I didn't even know that.
Come on, man.
I didn't even know that,
Come
bro.
on, there's no
I just
state
be
taxes
paying
in
attention
Florida.
to the weather, the beach, and the food, man. All that shit's
Nah.
good out there. But yeah, I would consider moving out to Florida.
What part? Maybe like Orlando?
Nah, man, I'd probably go to Miami.
See,
boy.
now I'm about to get
You know,
lost.
get lit,
Miami.
Yeah, Miami lit.
I'm scared
but-
of Miami, man.
Nah, I mean, there's some really nice chill places in Florida that I wouldn't mind moving to either. I definitely am more of a a summertime time type of guy. And I never been to Cali, but I've always wanted to visit, so I don't even know how it's out there. But I definitely want to live in a state where it's warm throughout the year.
Cali's dope, man. I was out there in LA a few years ago and been to San Diego. If I was to move anywhere from Atlanta, my life is so established in Atlanta. I hate to say that, but if I was to ever have the courage to move, it would be San Diego.
Yeah.
And the vibe
I heard
there
it's
is
nice out
crazy.
there. Yeah, I
The
heard
problem
it's
is it's just dumb expensive, bro.
Expensive, yeah.
But if anything, San Diego's where I see myself kind of finishing life off.
Type shit. No, hell yeah. Yeah, I've asked myself that question, like, do I really want to stay in the A? But, I got my fam here right now, and, I'm traveling everywhere for business, so there's not really no need to actually move anywhere at the moment, but I definitely know I'd probably go down somewhere like that, too. Either Cali, South Cali, or fucking South Florida.
For sure. And I know you said you had a project down in Houston, man. I was actually out in Houston last weekend.
I love
And
Houston.
the Houston nightlife
I
is
love
crazy,
Houston.
too, man.
There's hella raza out there, bro, and I love that. I love that,
The
bro.
vibe is different, man.
I
We're going to
love
get off
that.
topic really quickly. But I want to be honest with you, man. When I was down in Houston, man, it's a different vibe.
Yeah, it is. I got some cousins out there, man. Every time I go, it's always a move.
I was down there, it's crazy because you go to Atlanta. I was down in Houston, went out to this bar, and we ended up at this club, and there was a few, there was a section of a few people in there, mostly girls, and they were like, "Yo, come chill in our section." That would never happen in Atlanta.
Type shit.
It would never. They would be like,
Yeah,
"Nah, what are you doing in our section? Get out." In
Type
Atlanta,
shit.
but in Houston, bro, they was down.
Yeah, that's what's
And
up.
not on no bougie shit. Just relax, chill. Let's just have a good time.
Type shit.
So,
yeah.
that opened my eyes. I'm like, maybe I could do Houston if San Diego don't work out.
Nah, Houston is nice, bro. I love the people out there too, man. I ain't been too much. I've been a handful of times, but it's a really, like you said, it's a really nice vibe. And like I said, there's a lot of us out there, so it's really easy to click with people, bro. Everybody's just, you know what I'm saying? It's real cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Man, let's get back into the epoxy one more time just before we finish off this, man.
For sure.
And I wanted to kind of touch base with you. What made you get started? I know we haven't really talked about that. I know we talked about, your background, but what was like, yo, JP, go get this done, bro.
Bro, I was fucking 7 years, bro. I'm sorry, a little too loud. 7 years after, once I graduated high school, bro, I decided to be a painter with my dad, bro. Help him out, right? And I'm gonna take over the business, whoop-de-woo. I don't want to go to college or whatever. Now I'll figure it out. First couple of years after high school, I was just partying, you know. Every weekend I was going out and shit. I was getting lit. Just hanging out with my boys, just always, you know, just passing the time.
Just outside.
And kept telling myself, I'll figure it out, I'll figure it out, I'll figure it out. And then, you know, I turned 22, and I turned 22 and I was like, damn, bro. I was like, I'm a damn near almost a quarter till 30. And I was like,
Everybody's scared of the big 30.
Yeah, and I told myself when I graduated high school at 17, I graduated at 17 because I was born in August. I told myself, I was like, man, I gotta make it big soon. I gotta do something soon so I ain't tripping later and worrying about it. And so once I turned 22 or 23, I forget, I was like, I gotta do something different with myself. I gotta really like find a way to, you know, make a difference in my life financially, you know, because working every day, paycheck to paycheck, bro, it ain't living right, bro.
No, for sure. It's definitely not what we, you know, like we said, like I come from a Hispanic heritage culture, you know, and, you know, my parents, you know, migrated to this country for me to have a better lifestyle.
Exactly. And that's the one thing, bro. When our parents coming over here, they're like, school. Like, that's what you got to do. Like, that's the only way to
they
make
imprint that in your head.
Yeah, like, you got to go to college. You got to do this. Like, while they're breaking their back doing whatever, it's to make sure that you go to school and get an education.
For sure.
But it's like we've gotten to a point where it's like there's a saturation of people that go to college for shit that they don't even know if they really want to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get out of school and they don't even got a job lined up, and they're not even sure they really want to do it. But they in debt now, and so they gotta find a way to pay it off.
It's crazy you bring that up because I know a few people that have spent
$80,000
in college tuition and have nothing to show for it, which is crazy.
How you gonna get it back now? You in debt now?
It's crazy because I mean that's what society teaches you.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know,
and don't get me wrong, there's people that do make it by going to
sure.
school, but it's just like it's such a small percentage now. I just feel like you have such a better opportunity being an entrepreneur and just starting your own business. And I feel like a lot of people hear that entrepreneur, start your own business and get scared, but it's like, yeah, it's hard work, but at the same time, it's like you get to control that though. Like, you get to control how much workload you take on. You get to control your schedule, your time. You know, you get to control who you do business with. You get to, all that. Like, you have so much control when you're an entrepreneur, but at the same time, it comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of hustle. Like, you need a lot of hustle, and it just really depends on you how much you want to put in, how much work, because you can get so far in such a little amount of time.
What has been your biggest lesson 2022?
2023, my biggest lesson, I'd say, is there's more. Oh man, it's kind of hard. I have a lot on my mind right now, but being that I've gone through a whole bunch of shit, with my relationships and my girl, my ex, and then with my fam and stuff. I lost a little brother not too long ago. My mom was pregnant and gave birth, and we lost him.
Sorry to hear about that, brother.
It's all good. But it's you just have to be careful where you invest your time, who you give it to, who you letting speak into your life, and who you are letting encourage you and fucking just have that effect on you. You know what I'm saying? That persuasion, that inspiration, influence, whatever. And I just now come into 2024. I'm really trying. I will focus on myself, focus on my goals, and just try to keep growing. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a person that I've always wanted company. I've always been a social person. Always wanted people around me. I love being with people, like chopping it up and having fun. Sure. But it comes to a point where it's like, man, you got to push away from all that and just focus on yourself. That way you get to a point where it's like, man, I can finally chill.
No, for sure. I mean? And that's funny you say that, because for me, my plan for 2024 is time, managing my time, who I hang with, who I associate with, because you don't get that back, bro.
You don't get it back, nah.
And a lot of people don't realize how important it is to I used to hate being alone. Can't lie. Me too. Now, sometimes I like to just sit down by myself, think about my thoughts, and kind of just say, hey, Brian, we're going in this direction. This is what's next.
Yeah, kind of just organize yourself and,
And that's just, like you said, man, time is definitely going to be one of those things where 2024, I'm excited to focus more on that. And then obviously meeting new people, networking, marketing myself, and, you know, just focusing on what's next, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah, I agree. It's like you're saying, man, like, you know, the people you spend your time around with is like, you know, it's really going to determine where you end up. You know, you can't be in the same, as much as you love your, you know, your day ones and stuff like that, you know, shout out to my day ones for sure. They know who they are. You know, you're going to have to take some time away from everybody you love to go learn from other people that you don't even know that's going to benefit you. And you're going to make new friends along the way, but then you could bring everything back at some point, you know?
Yeah,
So
I mean, I've heard, you know, a few things like, you know, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And then, you know, and then there's another one that I heard recently. It was like, you got your day ones, but then you also have the day twos. And the day twos be putting you on.
I'm putting you on, yeah.
You know, it be people that you just met.
Type
and,
shit.
You know, for instance, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, yeah.
You know, he put us on. Now we're both on this podcast.
Type shit, yeah.
Just,
like, I'm telling you, like, I remember when I met you and I met, you know, a whole bunch of other Chris's friends, you know, Meek coming in, like, he just invited me out. I don't know anybody. These are Chris's friends. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Chris, you know, he's like, oh, it's my boy JP, it's my boy JP. And then, you know, kind of find out y'all's cool people too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, now we're here. So, yeah, you always want to keep that door open and never be afraid to, you know, meet new people and get out your comfort zone and just, you know, shit like that.
Absolutely, man. Well, first, man, I want to thank you for coming out today, man.
I appreciate you,
for
bro.
spending some time with, you know, 678 podcast and teaching us a little bit about the epoxy, but also, you know, giving us some of, you know, how, you know, some day-to-day lessons and basically how you've been feeling and how's everything in this industry. But man, just want to say, you know, I appreciate you coming out because I know your time's valuable.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro. You know, shit. I really appreciate you getting me to come out here, man. You know, it was nice talking to you. I feel like we got some really good content. You know, a lot of important things we talked about that I feel like will benefit other people. Hoping whoever sees this, you know, you get inspired to want to do your own thing, your own business, or make that move that you waiting on. That one little thing that you like, man, I don't know if I should do, if I should.
It's your sign right here.
Go out and do it, bro. Just do it.
Sure.
And if it don't work, it don't work. You could always try something else again. And like, what's the worst thing's gonna happen? You just fail. That's it, bro. You could try it again. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Ain't nobody gonna kill you. Ain't nobody gonna lock you up. Like, bro, you straight. Just figure it out. That's what I would say to everybody watching, bro. Just go out and do whatever the fuck you want to do, and you'll figure it out. Don't be scared.
You got to take it, you know, one day at a time. But accept the challenges, man. If you don't, you'll never know what you built of.
You'll never know.
Hey, man.
That's the one thing.
We signing out, man. Thank you guys for joining 678 Podcast.
678 Podcast, man. Y'all come check it out.
We locked in.